What's a trouser snake?
And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the S Bros podcast. I'm your host, Armando.
I'm Aaron.
And we're here to discuss the Avatar: The Last Airbender show, Netflix.
Yeah.
We've just finished off the season, and we crammed in 6, 7, and 8. And I guess we're just here to discuss what are your feelings on the show overall, Aaron?
Well, after a while, it was kind of... I don't know, it felt like more like a chore to watch this one episode at a time and then give a pod about that. So I do like how we're kind of just chalking it all up. Just a final episode about how we feel.
Aaron, how do you feel about the episode?
The last 3 that I saw,
how do you feel about the show?
It's hard to put into words because it's interesting to look at, but it's it feels like a show about nothing because even the things that are happening, it just feels like Spark Notes versions. It doesn't feel like a thing that led up.
Please silence your cell phones while we're potting.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, while we're potting?
I know.
Well, I understand what you're saying about things felt hollow about it, and it's only because they changed key moments of it in the storyline, and they took out big parts of it and crammed a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah.
Like, again, Chet being an Omashu and all that, those are very key moments where
very separate things that needed their own time.
Yeah, and then the large amount of time between when they get to the Northern Water Tribe and leave the Southern Water Tribe. There's so many events that go on in between there that you just don't get those moments.
That it feels like a long journey in the animated show.
Mm-hmm. And something that they just have never gotten down appropriately. I think that the Commander Zhao that we got in this show did the best. He was clearly the one that had the most talent of all the actors. That was very apparent.
And Ozai, I really liked. Mm-hmm. Let's see, was there any other actors? I really
big actors?
Not
really.
Not even big actors, just people who had any acting abilities. And to be honest, I really kind of liked Zuko towards the end. The guy who they got, Zuko, he really grew on me. I liked his whole backstory episode. Maybe that's what solidified it for me. Getting to see that side of things, and it was pretty accurate to what happened in the show. They didn't really change too much. Well, okay, they changed a couple of things.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple of things. There wasn't a single person that I felt got not touched by change. Everybody had alterations done to their characters.
What did you think about the Fire Lord creating that kind of jet beam of fire to burn Zuko's face rather than it just being a fire blast to the eye?
It explains why his scar was weak, but I like that idea because it's a little bit more... Actually, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty dark to think that he just hey, you need to...
It was already over. Here's an extra thing.
Well, because it's more symbolic, I think, because clearly Fire Lord Ozai, he's the alpha wolf. He's not even say the alpha wolf. He's just the alpha, and you always have to I can understand logically why his character behaves the way he behaves. So I get why he would burn him like that to continue it. Hey, you think twice. You remember this moment here in these moments. I could have killed you, but I'm not. And so
that is a legit thing if it was a more severe offense.
But it goes with the Agni Kai that they're going for. Like it doesn't like that. But I also buy the storyline where they're just going hard, or he's just going hard at Zuko, and one of his fire blasts nails Zuko. That part also.
That was 100%.
So both of them I'm fine with. I don't have a problem. I honestly the 3 characters that I have the least issue with: Fire Lord Ozai, Iroh, and Zhao.
Really?
Yeah, those 3 characters I have the least problems with.
I don't know if, to be honest, I don't know if I liked Iroh as much as I wanted to. I didn't get a sense of... I didn't really get the essence of Iroh out of this character.
No, you're not going to. I don't think so. I'm talking about just as the characters of this show, the characters.
But he didn't even strike me as someone who is just a wise old man, a part of the White Lotus.
He wasn't. Not at least not like this. It doesn't feel like that. But again, these are the.
But that's who Iroh is.
Yeah, but these are the characters I have the least problems with.
Yeah.
So there's nothing about this show that is, besides them all having the same names and the same, it's the same platform.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a different thing than the animated series. But if we're talking about characters I have the least problems with, it'd be those characters. And Sokka I'd probably put in there as well. But I do agree with you.
I agree with that. Sokka was nice.
I do agree with your point of view that you kind of warm up to Zuko a little bit towards the end. They give his character a little bit more depth, and not in the same manner that is in the show necessarily.
Yeah.
So they give you kind of a different aspect of it and something that you can kind of attach yourself to a little bit more.
Yeah, it was a really nice touch getting to see that he is cast away with the crew that he spoke up for. Mm-hmm. That's not something that's in the animated show, and I actually really liked that detail.
Same. I also think that, I don't know, I don't think it was necessarily detrimental to Sokka's character not to have him be super sexist. And when I say detrimental to his character, in this live action show, like, it didn't make me dislike him or anything like that. Obviously, you don't get as much of attachment to these characters because you don't get their emotional arcs.
Yeah.
But at least for me, with Sokka, it didn't matter that much that you don't get that. It was okay for this show.
It really didn't change much because it's not like we spent 20 episodes with these characters and went on a journey. It wasn't a part of his character that we saw change. So if they had it included, it just would have been a weird thing to have in there. So I get it. I am actually okay that it wasn't a thing they tried to focus on because they already put too much into each episode.
I would almost argue they didn't really put enough in each episode.
Well, yes and no. Both of ours is correct and wrong. What I mean by that is they didn't have enough of the things that made it Avatar, but they had many episodes in each of the episodes.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. Yes. They did. They tried to, but they didn't. It wasn't necessarily just the true essence of the content. Correct. They were just, when they combined all these episodes, it's even including like references.
It was just for namesake.
Yeah, like the episode where they meet up with June to go off and try to find out the Avatar in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Or at the fire temple. They mention the pirates and stuff, but it's only just to let you have that for the reference of the episodes.
Exactly.
And so it wasn't, they don't have much of the actual soul of what the show is. It's just they're shoving all these things into one bit for the 8 episodes of the season, which was never going to be a recipe for success.
No. Too rushed.
Yeah, but I don't want to necessarily just say it's. I mean, there was a lot of negative parts about it. But there was
some good parts.
I visually speaking, I actually don't have any issue with the last episode when Aang, and this was clearly the episode that they put most of the bang into.
Yeah.
Where Aang took on the rage of the moon spirit and started just thrashing around and everything like that. I did not have that big of a problem with it. The problem I had was that they didn't give you really the Zhao scene.
Correct.
Like, they don't give you that moment where the spirit world takes revenge on the fact that Zhao killed the moon spirit.
I definitely agree with you on that. It felt kind of robbed of us of how quickly he was taken out by Zuko. Or not Zuko, Iroh is the one who blew the final strike. I didn't really like the scene with Aang as the giant fish kaiju monster thing.
Why?
Because he didn't really do anything. He just walked around and roared.
Yes.
That's not what happened in the animated show. In the animated show, he really like fought, and he really, brought the hammer down, brought his or her hammer down on the streets, and really took out those Fire Nation. Yes. I liked the scene of having all the Water Tribe individuals bowing to that spirit, because that was like, oh, okay, they get it.
They understand what's in front of them right now. They're like,
yes.
Okay, hey, dude, you handle this from now. People who are about to fight you don't understand. You can't die. So
I definitely didn't like how when Aang was when the spirit was walking out into the ocean, and Katara was whispering some shit. I didn't like how they portrayed it, like she was the one who talked him back.
Yeah, that wasn't it at all. The moon coming back, because it wasn't Aang there anymore. Everything that was about that setup was the fact that it wasn't Aang anymore.
Correct.
And you buy into that. Then as soon as Katara is like, Aang, come back to us, Aang, come back to us. It's like, well, then, so he is there.
Yeah.
So then this wasn't the grave.
It was a bit rough. That was a bit cringe.
Yeah, it was the logical fallacy of that moment.
They were trying to get one of your famous Katara Hope speeches in that moment.
Yeah, and it just kind of took away all the momentum of that moment, because he looks back, and it's because of the moon. It's because they're trying to give Katara all these lines. It's trying to make it seem like that was the part. And I'd almost argue it wasn't because it was written poorly or anything. I started to get upset because it was like, don't take this moment away from this moon spirit.
Yeah.
Like,
it was extremely
important. This has
important.
nothing to do with you.
No.
You're just talking into the ether.
Yep.
Because you don't want to believe anything anybody has said at this point. While all these events are happening around you, you just think they're happening because of you.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's exactly how it came across.
It bothered me. It bothered me
too.
It fueled my hate fire for Katara in this live action series.
I liked, that Zuko character. Still thinking about how many kicks he was able to do.
He was a kicky guy. He loved to kick,
and he was really good at it too. I wouldn't be able to do that.
I will also discuss the atrocious waterbending fight scene that we got from whatever the elder's name is in Katara.
Master Paku.
Yeah, Master Paku and Katara's water fight.
Because I liked the waterbending fight between Katara and Zuko, because it was only like 3 seconds here and 3 seconds there.
Yeah, that was a lot better. But it wasn't. I mean, it was as good as it was going to get.
As good as they could have ever done.
I knew going into the water bending fight scene.
Oh god!
I even looked around like, this is gonna be bad.
It was slow. This is
gonna be bad. It was excruciating to watch. Cringy.
Yeah, it was very cringy when she got blasted with that blizzard. And then her hair loopies fell out. Yeah. And then we just get that iconic scene of her hair down. Yeah. I was like, oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, it was just like, as you put your hair down.
As I put my hair. Yeah. Dude, my hair's always been down. I'm just whatever, dude.
I just did not like Katara's character. She did not do a good job of selling me on there.
No.
But they also didn't give us any episodes to really get to know her or like her.
And it's really important that Paku was supposed to marry Gran.
If you took out all of the episodes in between, I also don't think it's that important that Paku marries Gran.
No, it was supposed to.
I don't think it was that important.
It's super important.
Why?
Because that's how they're able to connect.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Never mind. Ignore what I was saying. You're right. That's how they. That's how
for
they.
the most part,
bond.
I do.
Yeah. I am not the resident expert on this.
That's okay. Nor on Star Wars.
Nor are you. Okay.
I am the resident expert.
No, you're not.
I'm the resident expert. Who is the resident expert then?
Well, I guess if you want to talk about the resident. And yes, you probably would be the expert, mostly just because you know like the names of the stuff a little bit more than I do.
Dude, it was a religion to me.
You just know specific names, but I know the event of the stuff. But whatever it's freaking called, who cares?
Yeah, I can use references when I'm dumbing down my language to talk to you about Star Wars.
Dude, I hate so much about what you are, and so, but, so, also, where did we? So we got to see them get to the Northern Water.
I wanted to ask
tribe.
you what you thought of Princess Yue. Because have you ever seen the M. Night one?
No, but I saw Prey. Oh no, I did see the M. Night Shyamalan one, but I don't remember her character at all.
Ah, dude, that movie was.
I remember very little besides the parts of where they've come across my algorithm now, where Zuko is doing his like firebending kick and the fire comes after he kicks, and so
it's so rough.
Yeah, there's parts that I'm aware of, but there's also parts that I couldn't tell you. Okay. So Princess Yue, I don't remember her in that show. I remember her in this one.
A lot of people are saying that they prefer that version, but that's just a lot of the memes that I've seen on Instagram. And I think the reason why they prefer that is mainly just because she's, I don't know, when I say she looks prettier, she just looks more like your standard influencer beauty type level. Like,
I disagree. Her eyes are odd in her head.
I'm not talking about the Netflix one.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The
one that I have no recollection of. Gotcha.
The one you have no recollection of.
That's the one you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that I think that they only like that one because on paper she looks the prettiest, quote unquote, princess-like, and her costume fits her the best, whatever. I think character-wise, the one we got in the Netflix version was immaculate. I really liked how you got the sense that she really cared for the people, that she was part of the people, and you didn't get that in the M. Night one. Just because she walks over here and bends down and pats this little girl on the head over here, like that's not a princess of the people. But the one we got in the Netflix one, I really did like how they portrayed that, and her and Sokka had some good chemistry. I
can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I liked that, and I wanted some of that ice cream that she made. I was thinking about that.
They made that ice cream look pretty good. Something I was thinking about.
What's that?
When it came to the scene leading up to where Zhao stabbed the fish.
Yeah.
How did you feel along the lines how that compared to the animated and the M. Night Shyamalan one?
Obviously, the best storytelling version of that sequence is the animated one, because with Aang being there in that moment, in that area, and then being in the spirit world, and having Katara watching over him, and then having people come up and try and do their thing, all of that felt like the stakes were a lot higher than Katara standing in front of this doorway of this massive oasis that people were able to go into from the sky. So it didn't really matter that she was even there in the door. So I didn't like that part of that. The oasis was beautiful, whatever. Them doing kind of a little look and find, trying to find the spirits, and then everybody hiding in the bushes. Yeah, all that was a little weird to me.
I agree.
You agree? Okay.
If you're trying to save the spirits, you would be going up there and just you meet them head on.
Well, yeah, but they're also
How does it happen in the
also
animated?
kids.
How does it happen in the animated show?
Which part?
That whole scene.
Um,
Is Zhao looking for the spirits? Like that is canonical, yes?
he knows he goes right to the pond. So like it's not this massive field, it's this tiny little like circle.
Does he know that they are going to be the koi fish?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Of
gotcha.
course.
What do you mean of course? Like
When
how
I
does
say
he
of
know
course, Commander Zhao in the animated show is very knowledgeable and a very...
So there's something written down about the fact that these are going to be koi
Yes,
fish?
he has studied many scrolls and talked to many people, and he's done his homework.
He's basically the Thrawn of
The
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
The thing that I thought was kind of weird was how Zuko had a notebook, a diary. We'll call it his diary because he's a little eccentric. So in his diary, he has basically all the secret information that you would ever possibly need for understanding the world that you're in here. But Zuko doesn't have that in the show. He knows a lot of shit, but he doesn't have like this diary that other people just don't know this information. It's only he's got all the secrets. You're talking
about in the animated series?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the live action one, it's portrayed where he's got this diary that's got all the secrets of all this stuff.
Do they do that in M. Nights? Do you know that?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so. This diary is something new. But yeah, that's just not how it was in the animated show. So the kind of placement of who knows what and how they know things is kind of a little weird and needs a little explaining, but I don't want them to take the time to explain that because already this show is very dialogue heavy instead of actually doing anything.
I agree with that 100%. I'll be honest with you, I really hated Momo in this. I really hated the scene where Momo got brought back to life and everything. I was like, so all of this was dumb because why was Momo the one that jumped in to help? Like that's never happened.
How could Momo push a living person out of the way of a falling rock and then not get smushed?
Also, when has Momo ever been there to help out in any of these scenes prior to this moment in the show?
In the show, nowhere.
That's what I mean.
In the animated show, he's extremely crucial.
Sure.
Extremely crucial.
Okay, calm down.
Extremely crucial.
Calm down. No, he's not extremely crucial. He's extremely crucial for for certain freaks to watch that show, okay? That's all he's for, okay? Momo and Appa
did not have a big enough place in this Netflix show.
Yeah. Appa, again, his face is the thing of nightmares, and Momo, he's all right. But again, I
don't know why they tried to... So I understand wanting to expand on the Fire Nation side of things, but this is the first season. You really needed to focus on Zuko pursuing the absolute hell out of Aang. You needed to see Zuko going to the ends of the earth to try and capture the Avatar because it's that important to him.
You got a very dumbed down version of that because every single episode was about that. That was something Zuko. What do you mean, kind of? That was literally every episode.
He talked about it, but you never saw it.
That's what I mean. It was a very dumbed down version of it because all he did is just he mentioned it in every single episode, every single time, and then but I do like how at the end where he was talking about that whole thing. And Iroh asked him, I forget what he asked him. It was something along the lines of what's next. And he was just like, oh, I'm just tired. And I was like, yeah okay, that's decent.
Do you know why you liked that a lot?
Why?
Because that is the last line Zuko has in the animated show of the first season.
Dude, it's gold. It was gold. I was like, oh wow, he's tired. I'm just tired, man. Like he's like, yeah, you just done an incredible amount of work trying to get the Avatar. And
what they took out.
Oh, sorry.
What they took out of this season finale is the moment when everybody is distracted by everything going on. Zuko actually takes Aang's body that's over in the spirit world. He actually takes his body and like goes off into just the distance. He's captured the avatar. He's now just off into a blizzard just because he now that was his mission, was to just take the avatar. And then Katara comes up and puts him down because he's surrounded by snow and she's a waterbender and he's a firebender.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. I forgot all about that. You're right. They don't have. I mean,
they don't have that.
Obviously, you're right about that. I just mean like I totally forgot about that.
So
scene.
all of the things that you've seen Zuko go through, and then it just amounts to what happens at the North Pole, and then for his last line when he's leaving with Uncle, and he's just, I'm tired. Mm-hmm. It
hits different.
It hits different in the animated show.
We need to see the animated show again.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I just like the arcing characters of that. You really get along with the journey. They do a good job with that show. That's the problem. Yeah. When you try to adapt these certain things, you're not able to give, like, how many episodes are in the first season of the animated series?
20.
You're not getting anywhere near that for this, and you're never going to get the character arcs. You're never going to get the journey that these characters go on. Dude, you'll never get the growth.
The Great Divide.
Dude, stop talking about that. But you never get the moments where Aang and Katara are going through that cave. You never get the moments of all the other stuff. Really, you don't get the journey stuff.
You don't get the
list off the
giant
stuff.
Koi fish surfing.
You don't get the koi fish surfing.
You don't get the riding on the mail carts with Boomy.
You don't get the mail carts with Boomy.
You don't get the I'm tired, Uncle. You don't get the hug when they're actually. You do get the hug.
Yeah,
between them on the ship.
You've now named two things.
Two things.
Yeah. So far, 50% right, 50% wrong, and there's probably a lot of people who would disagree with you. Okay. All 13 of our subscribers would disagree. You
don't get the scenes where Aang does any water bending.
No water bending in this at all.
And
that was what was it? There was that line where, what was the waterbender master's name? Copa.
Paku. And he was saying something.
Where he was like, maybe you should have worried more about. Maybe you should have practiced more on your journey. Here or something like that.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, he was
like, you should have done more with that, and you're like, yeah, Netflix. yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, he was saying maybe you'll even get to some water bending, and I was like, yeah, maybe he will. Netflix.
Yeah, no, that's not. No,
I don't. So good, so good.
But overall, the show is obviously very mid. Watch the animated
Super
show.
Mid.
Watch the animated.
The animated show is if you want the actual story, it's the only one that there is. This just needs to be put on the shelf with things that it's yay more things.
Yeah, it's like when you watch the Man of Steel because the Justice League animated series is done. You
don't like Man of Steel?
No, I do like Man of Steel, but that's basically why you like it's. I was trying to equate the two.
Well, no, I wouldn't watch this again.
No. No.
If they come out with season 2, I'll probably stick.
Have to.
I don't know if
we have half the content.
We might not do every episode like we did with this one.
We're gonna binge the show and
gosh,
then we'll do a summary.
That was a bit rough.
We learned. This is a new channel. We're learning. But I'm excited to get into Dune. I'm excited to get into the Bad Batch.
We saw Dune Part 2, and that was incredible, and we are going to be talking about that next.
That was a masterpiece. But yeah, we'll get into that for the next episode.
We'll be talking about the Empire Strikes Back of modern cinema.
One of the best sci-fi movies I've seen ever. It was so good.
So, stay tuned.
Do you know something kind of crazy? Dude?
Huh. 30?
We're at 30 minutes.
Dude.
It just hits. It
just hits?
It's weird that it hits just perfectly where it's supposed to be. But actually, something that I want to touch on a little bit.
What's that?
I think that the issue with this animated and live action show, the not the animated and live action show, the issue with the variation.
Yeah.
One, you're talking. The people who are the true fans of this show were essentially kids when this show came out.
Yeah.
And so we have
I remember
one. I will never say that it's not a good, well-written show and that the story is gold.
Dude, I remember the premiere.
So you have the fact that it's a good show, but you also have the nostalgic aspects of it. And so you get multiple parts of this where you're like, okay, there's a very large attachment. Now, all those people who were kids are our age. They're adults. And so we get this show, this live action offshoot, a remake, a live action offshoot, and it's just not going to hit the same. But I would argue that it's very much so in the same vein as when they did the live action Lion King episode, like movie.
Yeah.
People came out and they're just like, it doesn't have the same emotional attachment that.
Well, it doesn't.
Obviously, but
I've seen.
Hold on. If you were a kid, you are watching an animal talk. That's wild. That's insane. When I was a little kid, if Allie, our little house cat, started talking,
that would blow my mind.
That's what's on the TV screen there.
But it's
for
not.
Kids
but
at that
when
age.
I was a little kid watching The Lion King, it's not like I thought that was realistic.
I know that I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we knew that was a cartoon.
And so, what kind of helps kind of drive that emotional tone is being able to have and I'm not saying cartoon, but an animated face. Animated facial features. Mm-hmm. Animals do not possess the muscular structure to be able to show such complex emotions in their face.
There's not going to be the same emotional attachment to it for that child.
No, not even emotional attachment. What I'm talking about is the emotions that they can convey through facial, through like face acting, as you want to say.
Yes, you're not going to have the emotional identity to it. You're not going to get that attachment where you identify.
So that's
with
why
the
they're
scene.
saying that it doesn't have the same emotion.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with as a kid, later, now you're adults.
Yes, I understand.
That's all I'm saying.
I totally get what you're saying. I just don't think it's like that because this is my only point. I remember as a child when we went and saw Dinosaur in the theater.
God, that looked real.
I was watching dinosaurs talk, and I'm just like,
God, that looks
real.
real.
So now you remember as a child watching those scenes where you're watching that, you're like, oh my God, did they find these things? Like, you're just like,
what was his name? Alazar?
For some reason, Altazar?
Altazar? No.
I don't think that's true. I can Google that, and I'm gonna go on my little rant.
Okay, go on your little rant.
So my point to that is, I remember being a kid and seeing that, and you're just like, "Holy shit, this is so real." Now, as a kid, if you're sitting in a chair watching an actual lion talk, an actual bird talk, with a voice that you're familiar with, that you would have emotional attachment to,
Aladar,
we were pretty close.
Very close.
But so like who's the cast of that? Childish Gambino, I'm pretty sure he was in it. Of The Lion King.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a cast to that with people whose voices that are familiar.
In 2019, you had the cast would be James Earl Jones as Mufasa, which is ridiculous.
He's a return.
He's a returning character. Yeah. You had Donald Glover as Simba. You had Beyonce as Nala.
Who was Scar? Jeremy Irons.
Nah, dude, I'm gonna butcher his name. Especially, I've had a couple beers. I'm gonna butcher Jeremy that name. Irons? No, I'm gonna butcher.
Seth Rogen.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna butcher that name.
Jesus. Chiwetel. Oh, dude. Scar. What is he in?
Oh, give me that.
What is he in? Because that's a
well, he was Modor in. God, that's not the name, but he was in Doctor Strange. He was his friend.
Yeah, he was the other, but he's in other things.
Yeah. He was in 12 Years a Slave. He was
not quite the movie I was.
Oh, he's going to be in Venom 3. Fancy that.
Okay, cool. I'm down.
He was in Love Actually. He was in The Martian.
Yep.
He was in Four Brothers.
Yes.
He was in Salt.
Yes.
He was. Did you see Salt?
Yeah. With Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. I never saw it.
You know what? Listen, I don't care. I think she's hot. So continue.
You think she's hot?
I do.
Do you think Steve Buscemi is hot?
Dude, no, that's not that. They don't look the same. Okay, I've seen the picture, and I adamantly disagree.
There's a point in time when they looked the exact same.
Steve Buscemi at one time was a good-looking dude.
What do you mean at one time?
Prove me right. Well, you know what I mean, dude. He's got an eye that's looking fucking towards Texas
Dude,
every
so
day.
he became a gray beard.
He definitely became a gray beard.
Honor your elders.
But I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about the cast of The Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, what's this guy
So,
in?
like, my
and
point,
then I was
my point
talking,
to that
and then
is-
he was in a movie with Angelina Jolie.
My point to
and
that
then
is-
you said that you really liked
my point
Steve
to
Buscemi.
The Lion King is that as a child growing up seeing that, I think that has the same kind of heaviness that would be similar to what we would experience when we were younger as that emotional attachment. Is it the same thing? Not at all. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying as what that generation will grow up with, that's very similar to it's just a different type of that. Instead of it being the emotional
When was
thing,
the last time you saw it?
the live action Lion King, probably more recently than you would realize. So more than I would admit.
Okay.
And this is the thing: you don't get the facial expressions that do it. But again, I'm watching animals talk.
But is that the thing that, do you just like keys dangling in front of your face? It's
No.
about the emotional, like,
And we've already covered all this. We're not going to repeat all. We're not going to repeat all this. We're
with
not
the
going to repeat all
way
this.
they were animated.
You're repeating it. The point is that even though it's not, I'm not even saying it's the same. I'm not saying that it's this. I am not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying, okay, it's like imagination and philosophy. When you're a kid, it's imagination. When you're an adult, it's philosophy.
Correct.
That's what this is. When we were kids, that emotional attachment of watching the animated faces, everything, the things that can portray real emotion, of a sadness. Like, you can't have an animal cry the same way a cartoon cries. And so, like, I understand there's a huge difference.
And so that's why, in my opinion,
the next stage of that,
in my opinion,
in the world of technology,
in my opinion,
that is the next stage.
What I'm talking about is because it can't be communicated in the same way. Kids watching the live action are not going to be interpreting the same message that when we were kids, we were interpreting this one.
I agree.
And so that's why it doesn't matter.
You are putting your values as an adult on something that as a child, we were on the same page. Remember when you saw...
To be honest, I don't talk to enough children nowadays to know what movies impact them or not.
Close your eyes.
I don't have to close my eyes.
Close your eyes.
I don't have to close my eyes.
Please close your eyes.
What are you talking? What are you going to be talking about?
I just want you to close your eyes. The table is so long, I'm not going to strike you. Just close your eyes.
Armando.
Close your eyes for me,
Armando.
please. I promise you it'll be worth it at the end. Are your eyes closed?
Yes, they are. And I'm digging my nails into them.
Stop. Just keep your eyes closed. And I just want you to remember when you were a kid, okay? We had just gotten done at the duck park. feeding some ducks some bread that's probably deforming their children or making them unable to go collect their own food.
Wonder Bread.
We went to the park with the metal slide. And, we went in the morning, so it was cool enough for us to go down. Then we went to Jewel School. And
it was like the splintering wood playground with the metal slides.
Yeah, the super dry mulch. And then we went to Jewel School and got the little free lunches. And then we went and got our canned food. Your eyes are open. Close your freaking eyes.
I'm not closing my eyes.
Close your eyes. Walk down this imaginary memory lane.
I'm able to picture this, okay?
And so we went and got our free lunches from the Jewel School.
Yeah.
Ran around and played with our friends at the time. Who they were, I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, whatever.
And then Mom's like, hey, guys, I got a surprise. We're going to go see a movie. Guess what movie it is, guys?
Okay.
What movie, Mom? That movie, Dinosaur. We sit down in the theater and we're like, wow, this is exciting. I love dinosaurs. So do you at this time. You love dinosaurs. You get hard to dinosaurs. And so we're just sitting there getting ready to see some dinosaurs. And then we're like, oh, crud, lemurs are also in this. That look at the time, very real. And you're sitting there and you're watching them talk. And you're like, holy crap. I'm watching something that I'm told is fake, but it looks so real. My reality is shifted now. That's what watching this live action Lion King is for children. And that's all I'm trying to say.
I disagree. I don't think that there's anything nowadays that would do that to a child.
And I understand what you're saying. I just think there's certain times where I can't tell if it's you or if it's your measles vax talking. And those are the only things that I end up coming up in my head. I'm like,
Armando?
Man, is this...
Armando?
Is this... All right, guys. That's our episode.
That's all we got.
That's all we got. You guys, we will be back with our Dune episode, and we'll discuss that. Yeah, it'll be fun. Alrighty, guys. Till next time. Bye.